I think when you are bereaved at a very young age, anytime really, but particularly at a young age, I can resonate closely to that. You feel pain like no other pain, and you know that in your life it's going to be very difficult.
Deep inside the giant stone walls of a royal palace, a secret battle for power is happening right now. It is a fight over a huge pile of money, thousands of acres of land, and who gets to be the boss of the family's most private secrets. Queen Camilla's family is very, very angry because Prince William just became the owner of a giant royal estate worth £1 billion. For almost 20 years, Queen Camilla's close family and friends had special jobs and a lot of power over these lands. These lands are huge. They cover 135,000 acres all across England. But now William has quietly pushed those people out. He brought in his own friends to help him. What looked like a simple choice about who should work for him has turned into a big problem. This problem shows a scary amount of tension inside the British royal family that was supposed to stay a secret from the rest of the world. Let's look at what happened recently, because one event started this whole mess. In July of the year 2024, a big bank report was shared by the group that manages the land called the Duchy of Cornwall. This report tells everyone how much money was spent and who got paid. Inside that long list of names, there was one name that had been there every single year for nearly 20 years. That name was Annabel Elliot. She is Queen Camilla's younger sister. Her job was to pick out furniture and paint colors for the royal houses. The royal family had been paying her since the year 2005. But in the 2024 report, the number next to her name was 0. This meant she was not getting paid anymore. She had lost her job. Annabel Elliot was the woman who decided what the inside of about 25 vacation houses looked like. These houses were all over the royal lands. Some were tiny cottages by the sea in a place called Cornwall. Some were on beautiful islands called the Isles of Scilly. She even worked on rooms inside an old castle and bedrooms at a special hotel. For 20 years, the records show she was paid a lot of money every year. Sometimes she was paid £19,000, and sometimes she was paid as much as £82,000 just for her work. On top of that, the royal family gave her even more money to buy things like chairs, tables, and curtains. One year, she got £90,000 just for those things. When you add it all up over 20 years, she was paid about £1.5 million. That is a giant amount of money. The most interesting part is that she was never hired like a normal worker. When most people get a big job, the boss looks at many different people to see who is the best. But for Annabel, there was no contest. No other designers were even asked to try for the job. She was hired because she was the sister of the woman who married King Charles. For 19 years, being the sister was enough to keep the job. But then William took control, and he decided that being the sister was not a good enough reason anymore. A royal expert named Emmy Griffiths talked about this on the news. She said that William took her off the list of people who get paid. This made a lot of people in the palace feel very uncomfortable. Another man who talks about the royals, Richard Fitzwilliams, told the newspapers that William's choice made sense. Said William has different goals than his father did. But there is a secret part of this story that most people missed. At the same time William fired Annabel, he gave jobs to 2 of his very best friends. The first new person is a man named Harry Aubrey Fletcher. He went to the same schools as William when they were boys. He was even a special helper at William's wedding many years ago. He is also the godfather to William's youngest son, Prince Louis. The second person is William Van Cutsem. His friends call him VC. He is the godfather to William's oldest son, Prince George. He also went to the same school as William. His mother was like a second mother to William when he was going through hard times as a child. To understand why firing one furniture designer is such a big deal, you have to understand how much power Prince William has now. The numbers are so big they are hard to believe. On September 8, 2022, something very sad happened. Queen Elizabeth died at her home in Scotland. At that exact moment, 2 things happened at once. Charles became the king, and William became the 25th Duke of Cornwall. He did not have to sign any papers. He did not have to have a party. He just became the boss of a giant estate that was started way back in the year 1337. A king named Edward III made it for his young son. The rule said the land would always go to the king's oldest son. What William got in that 1 second is more than most people can imagine. He now owns 135,000 acres of land spread across 23 different parts of England and Wales. The total value of all this land and the buildings on it is over £1.1 billion. Every single year, this land makes about £23 million in profit. That is about $30 million in American money. This is not just pretend money on a computer. This is real land, real money, and real power. The group William runs owns almost all the land on the Isles of Scilly. It owns half of a giant park called Dartmoor. It owns a famous place where people play cricket in London. It even owns more than 270 very old monuments, like castles where people think King Arthur used to live. It has over 700 farms and 600 houses that people pay rent to live in. A famous magazine called Fortune said this was one of the biggest transfers of wealth in history. It happened so fast. William also has a special rule where he does not have to pay certain taxes that regular companies pay. He does pay some taxes because he wants to be fair, but he refuses to tell anyone exactly how much money he gives to the government. His helper said he pays the highest rate possible, but everything else is kept secret. Only 7 days after his grandmother died, while the whole country was still crying, William held a meeting about money. He did not wait. He did not take a break to be sad. He went straight to work. The man who helps run the estate said William is a very demanding boss. This means he wants things done perfectly, and he wants them done now. There is a big difference between the houses the royals live in. Most people don't know this. Some houses, like Buckingham Palace, belong to the government. The king lives there, but he does not own them. He cannot give them to his children in a will. But two houses are different. Sandringham and Balmoral are private. The royal family bought them with their own money a long time ago. They are just like your house or my house, except they are worth hundreds of millions of pounds. When Queen Elizabeth died, these two houses went to King Charles. When Charles dies, they will go to William. These houses are very important to the family's feelings. They are the places where they spend Christmas. They are where they go when they are sad or tired. King Charles said that his mother, the Queen, loved Balmoral more than almost anywhere else. She chose to spend her very last days there. A long time ago, Queen Victoria bought Balmoral and called it her paradise. She said it was a place where she could forget about the sad things in the world. Prince Albert, her husband, helped design every part of the castle using white stone from the land nearby. Another house, Sandringham, was bought in 1862. King George V said he loved Sandringham better than anywhere else in the whole world. King George VI died there peacefully in his sleep in 1952. These are not just big houses, they are the most private and special places the family has. Right now, Charles and Camilla live in them, but soon William will own them. This is why it matters who is getting paid by these estates right now. Camilla's family has been part of these houses for a long time, but William is showing everyone that he is going to change things. To understand why Annabel Elliot being fired was such a big shock, you have to know who she is to Camilla. This is not just a story about a lady losing a job. It is about the person Camilla trusts most in the world. Annabel and Camilla are sisters who are only 18 months apart in age. They grew up together in a big house in the countryside. Their father was a brave soldier, and their mother came from a family that was always close to kings and queens. Annabel said they had a magical childhood. They were very happy and had a great relationship with their parents. The two sisters are so close that they look almost like twins. They share secrets and help each other with everything. When Camilla married Prince Charles in 2005, she was very nervous. She was feeling sick and did not want to get out of bed on her wedding day. 4 people had to talk to her to make her get dressed. Annabel was one of them. She told Camilla that if she didn't put on the wedding dress, Annabel would put it on herself. That made Camilla get up. Later that year, Charles gave Annabel the job of decorating the royal houses. Again, he did not look at any other workers. He just gave her the job. Some people in the government were angry. They said it was not fair to give jobs only to family members. But Annabel was actually very good at her job. She decorated 64 rooms in a big hotel and people loved them. A newspaper said she was one of the most important designers in the country. She liked rooms to feel warm and comfortable, not cold and empty. She said a room should look like it has been there for a long time. At the big celebration when Charles became king, Annabel had a very special spot. Her grandson even helped carry the king's heavy clothes. She stood on the balcony of the palace with the whole family. She spoke in a movie about the king and said that Camilla is like a rock for Charles. She said they are very different from each other, but they work perfectly together. But even though she is so close to the king and queen, she lost her job as soon as William took over. A lot of people wonder if William did this because he is mean or if he just wants to be a good boss. The official answer is that it is not personal. People say William is just making things more modern. He wants to save money and do things a new way. But even if people say that, we cannot forget the long history between William and Camilla. This history is full of sad stories. Charles and Camilla first met a long time ago in 1970. They liked each other, but life pulled them apart. Charles joined the Navy and Camilla married someone else. Later, Charles married Princess Diana. William was born shortly after that, and then his brother Harry was born. But while Charles was married to Diana, he started seeing Camilla again. William was only 4 years old when this began. When William was 12, his father went on television and told the whole world that he had not been faithful to Diana. Millions of people watched him say this. The next day, everyone found out the other woman was Camilla. A few months later, Princess Diana went on TV too. She said there were 3 people in her marriage, so it was a bit crowded. This was a very famous and sad thing to say. William was only 13 then. Then when William was 15, the worst thing happened. His mother, Diana, died in a car crash in Paris. William was at Balmoral with his father and brother when he heard the news. He said he felt numb and dizzy. He was so sad that he walked into the woods and didn't come back for 14 hours. He had to walk behind his mother's coffin in front of 1 million people. He used his hair to hide his face so people could not see him crying. The first time William met Camilla after his mother died was a year later. He was 16. It was a surprise meeting that only lasted 30 minutes. When it was over, Camilla was so nervous that she said she needed a drink. William eventually went to his father's wedding to Camilla in 2005. He was polite and kind, but that does not mean he wants her family to be part of his business forever. A person who writes books about the king said that Camilla has always been a little bit afraid of William. Another person said that William has always tried to keep Camilla's family far away from him. So even though people say firing Annabelle was just a business choice, it feels like it is about much more than that. Right now, Queen Camilla is very powerful. She gets to live in 5 amazing houses. She has a very busy life helping the king, but experts say her safety in the royal family depends on Charles being alive. If Charles dies before she does, her life will change very fast. She would have to move out of the big palaces like Buckingham Palace because they would belong to William. She would also have to move out of Sandringham and Balmoral because William would own them too. Because of special tax rules, William can inherit everything from his father without paying the government any money. But Camilla would not get that same deal because she is not the sovereign, which is a fancy word for the top ruler. What she gets when Charles dies is a secret written in a will that no one can see for 90 years. She would probably move to a smaller house that she owns herself. In the year 2025, some secret papers showed that Camilla is already planning for the future. She owned a house for 30 years that she loved very much. She called it her therapy because she loved to garden there. She quietly gave that house to her children recently. At the same time, King Charles spent £3 million to buy the land right next to her house. He did this so nobody could build anything there that would ruin her privacy. This shows that the family is making big plans. They know that when Charles is gone, the world will be very different. William will be the king, and he will have his own rules. Annabelle Elliot is still doing some work for Charles right now, using his own private money. She is helping fix up parts of Balmoral so that regular people can come visit. But as soon as Charles is no longer king, those jobs will go away. In a big interview, Prince William said that he wants to change things. He said he is not afraid of change. He actually likes it. He said that sometimes history can feel like a heavy weight that makes it hard to breathe. He doesn't want to be stuck doing things the old way just because that's how they were always done. He saw how the old rules hurt his mother, his father, and his brother Harry. William is choosing a new path. He is not running away from being a prince, but he is deciding exactly what kind of leader he wants to be. The land William runs now looks very different than it did when his father was in charge. William promised to build 24 houses for people who don't have homes. He is using his own land and money to do this. He also wants to make sure that more houses are affordable for regular people to live in. He wants his land to be healthy for the planet by the year 2032. He is even building hundreds of homes for people to rent at low prices. His reports don't just talk about money anymore. They talk about helping people and fixing the world. He has a special prize for people who help the environment and a program to help people who have to sleep on the streets. He also helps farmers with their mental health. He is trying to be a king who cares about how people feel. Someone who works at the palace said that William is not afraid to ask why things are done in a certain way. If the answer is, because we always did it that way, he won't accept it. Most people in Britain really like William and his wife Catherine, but younger people are not so sure if they even want a royal family anymore. William knows this. He said he wants the monarchy to be more about helping people and less about being fancy. He wants to use empathy, which means understanding how other people feel. He says he really cares about his work. There is one more thing that is very important to remember. When William was a young boy, his mother Diana lost her special royal title when she got divorced. William saw her being sad and he put his arms around her. He told her not to worry. He promised her that one day, when he was the king, he would give her title back to her. He was only 15 when he made that promise. He hasn't given the title back yet, and the royal family hasn't changed the rules about her. But look at what William is doing. He is making the royal family smaller and more human. He is focusing on people who are hurting. He is not worried about old traditions that don't make sense. In many ways, he is acting like the kind of leader his mother would have loved. It seems like he has not forgotten the promise he made to her all those years ago. Now, we want to know what you think about all of this. Do you think Prince William is doing the right thing by changing everything and starting fresh? Or do you think he should try to keep the family more united and follow the old ways? It is a big question with many different answers. Please tell us what you honestly think in the comments below. We love hearing your ideas about the future of the royal family. The story of the British royals is always changing, and right now we are watching a huge shift. For many years, things stayed the same. Kings and queens did what their parents did. They kept the same friends and the same workers for decades. But William is part of a new generation. He grew up with the internet and a world that changes very fast. He knows that if the royal family wants to survive, they cannot just sit in their castles and do nothing. They have to prove that they are useful to the world. By firing his stepmother's sister, he sent a very loud message. He was saying that nobody gets a free pass just because of who they are related to. He wants people to earn their spot. This might be hard for Camilla's family to hear, but it is the way William wants to run things. It shows that he is a strong leader who is not afraid to make people angry if he thinks he is doing the right thing for the future. Some people call this being cold, but others call it being professional. The land of the Duchy of Cornwall is not just a bunch of fields and old buildings. It is a symbol of the future. When you walk through the streets of the towns William is building, you can see his vision. He wants clean air, happy people, and homes for everyone. This is a very big goal for someone who was born to be a king. Usually, kings are known for wars or big parties, but William wants to be known for helping the homeless. It is a very different kind of power. While his father, King Charles, loves history and old things, William is looking forward. He is trying to bridge the gap between the old world of his grandmother and the new world of his children. His children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, are watching him. They are learning that being a prince is a job, not just a title. They see their father working hard and making tough choices. This will help them when it is their turn to lead. The tension between the different parts of the family will likely stay for a long time. It is hard to forget the past, especially when the past was so public. Every time William makes a choice that hurts Camilla's side of the family, people will talk about Diana. It is like a shadow that follows them everywhere. But William seems okay with that. He is using that shadow to guide him toward a better way of doing things. He knows that his mother was loved because she was kind and she listened to people. He is trying to do the same thing. He is taking the best parts of his family's history and leaving the bad parts behind. This is a very brave thing to do when the whole world is watching you. Every move he makes is written about in the news, but he keeps going. He is focused on his mission. In the end, the fight over the furniture designer is just one small piece of a much bigger puzzle. It is a puzzle about what it means to be a royal in the year 2024 and beyond. It is about money, yes, but it is also about respect and change. William is proving that he is the one in charge now. He is the Duke, and one day he will be the king. The era of doing things the way they've always been done is over. A new era is beginning, and it belongs to William. Whether you think he is right or wrong, you have to admit that he is making a big impact. The royal family will never be the same again because of the choices he is making today. As the sun sets over the thousands of acres of the Duchy of Cornwall, a new kind of leadership is growing. It is a leadership that values work over names and impact over tradition. We will have to wait and see if this new way of doing things keeps the monarchy alive for another 100 years. But for now, William is moving forward, one choice at a time, and he is not looking back. The angry feelings of the people he left behind are just a small price to pay for the future he wants to build for his country and his children. It is a story of a son who learned from his parents' mistakes and decided to do things better. And that is a story that everyone can understand, whether they are a prince or a regular person. The royal family is changing, and William is the one holding the map. As we look closer at the houses like Sandringham and Balmoral, we see the true heart of the family. These are not just places for tourists to visit. They are the spots where the most important talks happen. Behind those closed doors, the family decides how to handle the world. William is now the one who will decide who gets to walk through those doors in the future. He is deciding who is part of the inner circle and who is just a guest. By changing the advisory council and adding his own friends, he is surrounding himself with people he can trust. These are people who have known him since he was a little boy. They know his secrets and his dreams. This makes him feel safe as he takes on the huge responsibility of being the next king. Trust is very important in a family that has had so many secrets and problems in the past. William is building a team that will stand by him no matter what happens. Camilla has worked very hard to be accepted by the people and by the family. She has spent years doing good work and being a loyal wife to the king, but the reality of the royal system is very strict. When the king is gone, the power moves to the next person in line. There is no way to stop it. This is why the news about her sister was so hard for her. It was a reminder that her time at the top is limited. It was a sign that the next generation is already taking over. Even though she is the queen right now, she is seeing the world she built slowly being replaced by the world William wants. It must be a very strange and difficult feeling to be the queen, but also feel like a visitor in your own home. But that is the life of a royal consort. You are there to support the ruler, and when the ruler changes, your role changes too. William's focus on mental health and empathy shows that he wants to be a different kind of man than the ones who came before him. In the old days, royal men were supposed to be tough and never show their feelings. But William talks openly about his sadness and his struggles. He wants other people to feel okay talking about their feelings too. This is a big part of his impact plan. He wants to use his fame to make the world a kinder place. If he can use the money from his billion-pound estate to help farmers feel less alone, then he feels like he is doing a good job. This is why he is so demanding as a boss. He doesn't want to waste a single penny or a single day. He knows that he has a lot of power, and he wants to use every bit of it for good. The people of Britain are watching all of this very closely. They see the drama in the newspapers, but they also see the new houses being built for the homeless. They see a prince who is trying his best to be a good person. Even people who don't like the idea of having a king or queen can see that William is trying to be useful. This might be the thing that saves the monarchy in the end. If the royals are seen as people who help others and work hard, then people might want them to stay around. William's plan to be smaller and more focused on philanthropy is a smart move. It makes the royal family seem less like a group of rich people living in palaces and more like a group of people who are part of the community. So as we see the names change on the official reports and the new faces join the royal team, we are seeing history being made. We are seeing a young man grow into his role as a future king. He is taking the lessons of the past and the hopes of the future and mixing them together. He is making a path that is all his own. The fuming family members and the angry comments are just part of the journey. In the long run, William believes that his way is the right way. He is ready to face the challenges ahead with his own team by his side. The story of Prince William and the Duchy of Cornwall is just beginning, and it will be a story that people talk about for many years to come. It is a story of change, of power, and of a promise made by a 15-year-old boy that is finally starting to come true in a whole new way. Through every choice he makes, William is showing the world exactly who he is and what kind of king he will be. And that is a journey that is worth following, no matter how many character counts or simple words it takes to tell the full and true story of the royal family today.